What's up, guys? Mike from True Business Review today, and today I'm continuing my NFL for all 32 teams record predictions for the 2020 season. So far, we have predicted the entire NFC East, and we started the NFC North with the Chicago Bears, and yesterday we did the Detroit Lions. My personal favorite prediction was the Detroit Lions, so make sure you check that out. All the videos are going to be in Mike's record prediction playlist, so make sure to go check that out. Also, keep up the support. Make sure you're all subscribing, and we appreciate all the comments and likes and stuff. So let's get right into things with the Green Bay Packers today. So before we go game by game and predict their wins and losses, first let's talk about, like we always do in the beginning of the video, what this team did in the offseason, how they upgraded, how they downgraded. Now, honestly, I spent a couple days making a list for every single team in the NFL. Each team has like a ton of bullet points, highlighted stuff that I think they did good, think they did bad. The Green Bay Packers might have been like the team that did the least this entire offseason. So all that I have for the Green Bay Packers is 3 bullet points. So I'm just going to talk about those right now. So the first thing that the Packers did that was notable, we all know what I'm going to say. Aaron Rodgers was on the talk show. What was that called? It was Pat McAfee talk show. Good show. I recommend it. So quick shout out to them. But he was on that talk show saying he was excited to draft a skill player in round 1 of the NFL draft. I'm not sure about the entire story, but I'm pretty sure it's because for the last couple of years, round 1, they haven't gone with offensive skill players. So Aaron Rodgers comes on, says he's excited for a wide receiver, running back, something like that that'll help him out. Obviously, Packers draft Jordan Love, which is a huge surprise to Aaron Rodgers. And the story, the headline is that Jordan Love's going to be benched behind Aaron Rodgers for 4 years. And you're like, all right, the similar thing happened with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Maybe they're trying to replicate that with Jordan Love. Then the story changes because Jordan Love might not be benched for 4 years. Why not? Rodgers says he might not finish his career in Green Bay. He says it seems like a larger possibility as time goes on that his career is going to take him elsewhere to play for different teams. So obviously, when you're once in an era quarterback says he might be leaving your team, the whole locker room's definitely going to have some chaos and disorder to work through, similar to what Drew Brees is going through with New Orleans right now. So that's definitely an important factor for this season. And then in addition to that, the Green Bay Packers got rid of a pretty good tight end in Jimmy Graham. Not entirely sure who they have as their backup tight end, or maybe they could draft somebody. But that Jimmy Graham loss, he was a pretty solid player. He didn't have the best season in 2019. I know he had some drops and stuff in the end zone, but I do believe Jimmy Graham is going to negatively hurt this team. He was a solid tight end for them, and now Aaron Rodgers' best threats are – he also lost Geronimo Allison, so – his best threats now are Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I guess. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones started off 2019 slow, and then he picked up fire and kind of put that team on his back for a little bit. Pretty solid stretch towards the end of the season. I think Aaron Jones is going to have another good year in Green Bay this year. All right, so now that we talked about what the Green Bay Packers did, I know that there wasn't much to talk about for Green Bay, but I guess the first thing we can do is just go right into their schedule. So looking at their schedule, there it is. The Green Bay Packers started off week 1 at the Minnesota Vikings. So like I said, their locker room's probably in shambles right now. They're going to say it's not, but there's definitely some noise going around. And I believe that week 1, they play the Vikings in Minnesota. The fact that it's in Minnesota, I'll give the edge to the Vikings. Talent-wise, I could see this game going either way. If this was later in the season, things might be different. But week 1, I think that Minnesota Vikings, all their fans are going to be excited for the week 1 matchup. And the Vikings come out on top week 1, Packers 0-1. Next up, Packers play division rivals Detroit Lions in Green Bay. Their first home game of the season. It's always hard for teams to travel to Green Bay. But that has more of an effect later in the season with the weather. But I don't know if you saw my Detroit Lions video yesterday. The Detroit Lions, I think, are going to be a Cinderella story this year. So this win might not be guaranteed. Like, when the Packers play the Lions twice a year, those are not guaranteed wins in 2020, in my personal opinion. Matthew Stafford, Kenny Golladay, really strong offense down there in Detroit and a decent defense. I I give the Packers the edge, though, in this first matchup of the 2020 season with the Lions, and Packers come out on top, start off 1-1. The week after that big win against the Detroit Lions, they have to travel to New Orleans and play the New Orleans Saints. The Metrodome's a tough place to play in, regardless of whether it's the postseason or not. New Orleans Saints, I think they're going to have one of the best records in the NFL this year. NFC, almost guaranteed. Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. It's a stacked trio. Honestly, in my opinion, the best trio on offense in the entire NFL. And the Saints have a decent defense to go along with that. The Saints have one of the best offenses in the NFL alongside with the Chiefs. And I believe the Saints will destroy the Packers in New Orleans. Packers fall to 1-2. Next up, Packers play the Falcons in Green Bay. And similar to the Lions, I always think that the Falcons are going to be a better team than they are. But this year, my expectations for the Falcons are lower than usual. Now, why do I have low expectations for the Falcons? The Falcons did so much in the offseason, and barely any of it was good. The Falcons just lost so many pieces in general. Falcons lost Devontae Freeman, Desmond Trufant, Vic Beasley, Austin Hooper, and I guess you could say they lost Todd Gurley as well. That deal kind of just fell through. So, with that being said, I think the Packers have a nice bounce-back win in Green Bay against the Atlanta Falcons. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to look like he's in his prime in this game. He'll probably put up over 30 points, maybe have over 350 throwing yards in this game, and the Packers are 2-2. Next up, another road game, and it's at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't see the Buccaneers being as great of a team as many people say they are. A lot of people are saying they're going to get the first seed in the NFC. I don't think they're good enough just because of their defense. But I do think they have a really strong offense. Their offensive line needs some work. And obviously they need a better running back. They don't really have a strong running back room in Tampa Bay. But with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin on offense, it's definitely going to be some big play production in Tampa Bay. And the fact that it's in Tampa Bay, I'm going to have to lean towards the Buccaneers to win this game. Packers are 3-3. So, the Packers have 2-3. All right, my bad. So, they're 2-3. And if you look at all three of their losses, it's kind of interesting. All three of their losses so far have been against good opponents, and every single one of these games has been an away game for the Packers. Their 2 wins come against teams that people might not think are great, and it's the Detroit Lions and Falcons at home. So the Packers are 2-3, and they have a 4-game stretch. It looks like the Texans, Vikings, 49ers, and Jaguars. So first up is they have to play another away game at the Houston Texans. So the Green Bay Packers haven't won a road game up to this point in the year, but I believe things will turn around in Houston. I think the Texans are definitely going to have a disappointing season. I think that they don't have enough room, enough depth in the wide receiver room. Obviously, Kenny Stills and Kiki Cutie and Will Fuller. So they have some decent speed on that wide receiver core, but I don't see them having any, large talent, kind of carry the offense type of players. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is such a big loss. The big thing, though, is that J.J. Watt does come back fully healthy this year for the Texans. That's going to be an impact in their season. But the Packers have a pretty strong offensive line, and Aaron Rodgers will beat the Houston Texans in Houston. Packers are 3-3. Next up is against the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, they lost to them week 1, but it was in Minnesota. This time they are playing in Green Bay, coming off of a big win against the Houston Texans, trying to get things rolling. And the Packers beat the Vikings, so they split with the Vikings in the 2020 season. It's interesting because both of these teams are probably going to be in contention for the division. And, they play each other 2 times within the span of 8 weeks in the NFL season. So the back half of the season, they're not even going to see each other anymore, and it's going to be a race for the division. But I give the Packers the slight nod in matchup number 2, and up to this point, Packers are 4-3, finally over 500. Next up, Packers travel to San Francisco to play the 49ers. It kind of sucks for the Packers because they're playing some of their tougher opponents on their schedule, all of them mostly away. They play the Vikings, Saints, Buccaneers, and now the 49ers, all away games. However, I think they get their first road win, which is actually a tough win. Obviously, they beat the Texans on the road, but the 49ers are definitely a stronger team. I think the Packers go into San Francisco and upset the 49ers. The 49ers lost some solid players on offense. They lost Matt Breida. They lost Emmanuel Sanders. And they are getting Tevin Coleman back, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. I believe the Packers will beat the 49ers in San Francisco, and the Packers move on to 5-3. Next up, the Packers play the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's a home game. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL in 2020. Gardner Minshew is not the guy to lead that team. Gardner Minshew is not a franchise quarterback, and it's surprising to me that they let Nick Foles slip out of their hands in exchange for a 4th-round pick. I think Nick Foles definitely made the wide receiver core for the Jacksonville Jaguars look stronger than they actually were. I know him and D.D. Westbrook definitely had a connection going before the injury, obviously, with the collarbone. But I believe the Packers dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game could be played on the moon, and the Packers are still going to beat the Jaguars. Packers 6-3, and they just got a 4-game win streak. This win streak comes to an end the following week against the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts have a strong offensive line, and Phillip Rivers, he's not used to that. Phillip Rivers is coming from Los Angeles with the Chargers, and he looked a lot worse than he really is last season because he didn't have protection. With the Indianapolis Colts, I believe he's in an offense where schematically he will thrive. Marlon Mack and obviously the new running back they drafted are going to be huge helps to him. Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton probably going to have a good connection as well, just because of their play style. T.Y. Hilton does remind me a little bit of Keenan Allen. And I believe the Colts will beat the Packers in Indianapolis. Packers are 6-4. Next up, Chicago Bears, but they play them in Green Bay this time. And it's my personal opinion that at this point in the season, Nick Foles is going to be in for the Bears. And I think Nick Foles is going to be hot. I think Nick Foles will be in by week 6, pick up a few wins, and they'll be traveling to Green Bay. And I believe that Nick Foles falls short in Green Bay. So with Nick Foles, nothing is definite, but I just think that the Packers have a stronger roster overall, and the Packers get the win against the Bears. So let's see. Looks like they're 7-4 at this point. Next up, they play my Philadelphia Eagles in Green Bay. And as much as I want to give the Eagles the nod, the Eagles beat them obviously in Green Bay in 2019. But I don't see that happening again. That was kind of a fluky game, and it was actually a close game too. I forget what the exact score was, but it was something like 30-20 or something, 33. It was a close game. Packers were coming back. But that was definitely a fluke, and I believe that Green Bay will have their number against the Eagles in the late season. Going to Lambeau Field late in the season, weather is definitely a disadvantage, and I believe the Packers pick up the win against the Eagles at home. Packers are 8-4. Next up, Packers play the Lions, this time in Detroit. And like I said earlier in the video, I kind of hinted at this. I believe the Packers will fall short to the Lions at least once this season, and I think it'll come right now. Packers have traveled to Detroit, and I think that the Lions might even be in contention for the division at this point late in the season. And I think the Lions find a way to win this game. Matthew Stafford, Kenny Golladay, such a good duo. I think that if they stay healthy, then they're definitely going to be a lot stronger than they were than some people might think. They signed an offensive tackle, Halapoulides Vaitai, Desmond Trufant, Jeff Okudah. This defense and offense are definitely looking to get things going in 2020, and maybe contend for the NFC North. Lions beat the Packers late in the season. Packers are 8-5. Next up, Packers get to play the Carolina Panthers in Green Bay. Similar to the Jacksonville Jaguars situation, I believe the Panthers are definitely not going to be in contention for any playoffs this year. Panthers aren't a solid enough team defensively. Obviously, the loss of Luke Kuechly definitely hurts them. And I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is like a franchise quarterback. He's no Aaron Rodgers. He's decent. Could be, he could have a nice season this year, but he's definitely not Aaron Rodgers. I do kind of like the way the Panthers' offense is looking, though. We got McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. I don't even know who the other guy is. You guys can probably drop it down below. I know they got some other star wide receiver, who I'm forgetting his name right now. But, yeah, I believe the Green Bay Packers will definitely beat the Panthers late in the season. And it looks like the Packers are 9-5. 9-5. Packers are looking to win the division. Now they have an interesting 2-game closing stretch. They play the Tennessee Titans in Green Bay and the Chicago Bears in Chicago. Now, let me just disclaimer. The Packers are going to lose one of these 2 games. And honestly, it's a coin flip which one. But contrary to what most people are going to, believe, I think that the Packers are going to beat Tennessee Titans in Green Bay. Home field advantage. I think that Derrick Henry might not have his way in Green Bay late in the season. It's cold. It's going to be hard to carry the ball. Maybe he fumbles once or twice. but I think that Derrick Henry's going to fall short in this game. Maybe Ryan Tannehill doesn't have the best appearance. We'll have to see. Packers beat the Titans, and they're 10-5. And then to close of the season, I think Packers 10-5. They're looking to win the division, and then maybe Nick Foles comes in. The Green Bay Packers go to Chicago. They go to Nick Foles' territory. Nick Foles says, I'm going to be a Chicago Bear. I'm going to please Chicago Bear fans, and I'm going to beat the Packers in their final week of the season. And I think that, the Bears' offense might be rolling at that point. I think if Nick Foles comes in, gets a few wins under his belt, then I think things might actually start rolling for the Bears, and they could be a solid team this year. And I believe that the Bears will split with the Packers, and they'll beat them later in the season, which means that the Packers' final record for the 2020 season is going to be 10-6. So far we predicted the Bears, Lions, and Packers. Next up is the Vikings. Make sure to check my playoff prediction series, where I already said what some of the playoff teams' records were, and you'll see if 10-6 was enough to get the Packers into the playoffs. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.